This is your S-cam. This is your inner S-cam bushing. And this is your outer S-cam bushing. Your grease cert is here for your outer bushing, and your grease cert is here for your inner bushing. The S-cam is supposed to be greased annually on FMCSA. Oftentimes, the S-cam is either not greased, the grease cert won't accept grease, or the grease cert is missing entirely, causing the S-cam to build up rust on the inside due to lack of grease and to become frozen. As you can see here on this S-cam bushing, the grease cert is usually here and it is missing entirely, making it impossible to grease the inside of this S-cam bushing. If you do have an S-cam bushing that is missing a grease cert, you should replace it. A key indicator of a frozen S-cam bushing is, one, the brakes right now are fully released and you see that the S-cam is still in the locked position. Brake shoes are still on the drum, and you look at the brake chamber, the red is showing, indicating the brake chamber is fully extended. The other indicator of a frozen S-cam is with brakes released. Now I'm going to apply the brakes, and as you can see, the slack adjuster is moving, but the S-cam is not moving. Typically, when they're this frozen, it's not just the inner S-cam bushing, but it's most likely the outer S-cam bushing is your bigger issue. Usually, when you see the brake chamber pushing the slack adjuster the way it is and it's not moving, see how much stroke we're getting from that slack adjuster? It's about a ½ inch that it's moving with no movement of the S-cam. Typically, you're going to want to replace this slack adjuster along with the inner and outer S-cam bushing. Sometimes the S-cam is moving, but it's not moving fully. So you'll release the brakes and you'll see the S-cam move a little bit, but it only moves about a ½ inch. That kind of tells me that the S-cam is not releasing fully. This is how you check that. With brakes released, you hit the front of the push rod. Usually they're not that hard to knock in. When they are that hard to knock in, it's typically going to be the inner and outer bushing. Now we're going to apply the brakes again. See, it pushes out, and it still does not fully retract. That tells me that the S-cam bushings will need to be replaced, inner and outer, along with that slack adjuster. To replace the S-cam bushing, you're going to remove the slack adjuster. You got to take this lock ring off here. You remove this lock ring. You'll remove these clevis pins, and you'll back the slack adjuster out and remove the slack adjuster. Then you will remove these bolts accessing the inner S-cam bushing. You will need to remove the drum and hub assembly along with the brake shoes to access the S-cam. You're going to remove this lock ring here, remove it, and then remove that washer on the inside, and you're going to have to knock this S-cam out here. It's very important to be careful not to damage the end of this, or this lock ring won't go on and you won't be able to get the slack adjuster on. So typically when they're this frozen, you've got to hit them pretty hard. I recommend putting a piece of wood here to beat on it to keep from damaging the S-cam. Once you get the S-cam out, there's a seal on the other side of this housing similar to a wheel seal. You would knock that seal out, knock the bushing out, install the new seal and bushing. You want to make sure you pump grease through the grease cert to make sure it will accept grease. If it won't, you would replace the grease cert. Also, sand the surface of the S-cam where it rides on the bushing. Frozen S-cams are a leading cause of reoccurring slid flat tires, and with this push rod being fully extended, this location has no brakes. So on this particular unit, they over adjusted the front brakes to make up for the lack of brakes on the rear axle.